Hello Futties, welcome along to your latest dose of FIFA Ultimate Team podcasting, vodcasting, however you're digesting this show, goodness. My name is Dan Wimbush, otherwise known as Wimby, and before I introduce my very fine co-host for the evening, a big thank you to everyone tuning in to tonight's episode, which is number 400 even. 434. Sorry, I've been away a few weeks. We've got lots to get into tonight, including a brand new Shapeshifters team, lots of content, including one of the big icons finally being released for SBC. Plus, we'll get a few little gripes off our chest, because why not? It is Friday night. Also, a big thank you to all of our supporters over at Patreon at patreon.com/FUT in review, in particular to our Skybox holders, Amma, Reese, Artyom and Daniel. They give that top tier support and they get a free coaching session from the guys at footcoaching.com, who of course power this very show, plus a host of other goodies. Patreon.com/FUT in review for more information on that. And just quickly, one final plug. You may have noticed on our social media channels, including at FUT in review on Twitter, we have launched our Pro Clubs kit. You heard John and the guys talk about the brand new Pro Clubs project. Well, we've got to move to another step forward with the launch of that kit. So go give it a like, give it a retweet. It is very much appreciated. And of course, there'll be a chance to buy it. And in fact, we're going to have a competition to give away one of those. Full details of that is going to be coming up in the next few days. But look, I've kept you waiting long enough. And as well as just looking fantastic on the other side of the screen to me, it is the man known as Talking FUT. It is John. John, thanks very much for joining me, buddy.
No, thanks for having me on, Dan. Good to see you again.
And you, my friend. How have the last sort of few weeks been for you? I think the last time I heard you on this show, you had just deleted your club and reloaded it. So how have you been doing?
A lot better, because I've just stepped away from weekend league altogether. So my time is just spent grinding rivals and doing objectives, and therefore there's no pressure neither.
I like it. It is that time of the year. I mean, it is, what is the meme? Playing FIFA in July, but we are.
Grass.
I know. It is July the 1st today. So look, we are in, realistically, the penultimate month of FIFA 22. I can imagine we've got probably about 10, 11 weeks of this game cycle to go, and most people tend to take those last sort of 3-4 weeks off anyway. So realistically, we're talking about maybe 6-7 weeks of proper competitive play. But John, to EA's credit, they are, trying to keep us engaged. They're trying to keep us interested. The Shapeshifters bandwagon rolls on. I think this is now the longest running promo we've had in this game cycle. We've had a third team out today, and it is headlined by a certain Frenchman who used to grace St James's Park.
Absolutely. What a player. What a team.
Yeah, Mr. David Ginola, who you may remember from your waking nightmares for the first half of this game cycle, that left-wing Ligue 1 card that was 5-star, and just, I don't know about you, John, but it did give me nightmares. It was just, whenever I saw him in the lineup, I was like, oh, no.
Oh, yeah. At the start of the game, you'd rather face Neymar than Ginola. It was just like you saw him and you were like, oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he held his prize for a long time. There were whispers that when we had the captain's promo that Ginola was going to get a card. He didn't. But fast forward a couple of months and he has got an upgraded card. 98 rated striker card. So they have shaped his shift is shaped. But this time they've also shifted his league, as mentioned in there, reflecting his time with Tottenham, Newcastle, and I suppose Aston Villa to a lesser extent. Did he play for Everton as well at the tail end of his career? I can't remember.
I'm not sure, actually.
He definitely played for Villa, Spurs, and Newcastle. So anyway, he's got a Premier League card now. And I've not even dared to check the price because, we're recording this around about 7:30 on Friday night. And I'm willing to bet he's either extinct or in the 8 to 10 million range. And he is extinct at 14 million coins on the PlayStation.
He was extinct on the Xbox till about 10 minutes ago, and then he's appeared at 14 million.
Just imagine opening your 7.5k preview pack and having a 14 million coin card walk out.
That would be very nice. Just imagine the team you could build with those 14 million coins.
I mean, look, I don't think there's terribly much to say about this card. It's fantastic. If it plays, unless they've done something ridiculous to the card, and it doesn't look like they have in terms of changing a fundamental aspect like the body type or something like that. This card is just going to be an absolute menace. I mean, it's got max pace, the shooting's pretty much maxed out, passing is all above 90. His lowest passing stat is his free kick accuracy. He's got 99 vision. Look, if you pack this card, it's certainly for these final, as mentioned, 10, 11 weeks, he's going to be amongst the best cards in this game. And GG's to you if you get it. If you've got 15 million coins to spend, again, the game cycle is winding down. Why not spend it? But, you know, if you had this golden ticket, John, if he were to walk out of a pack for you, either, tradable, would you be keeping him, or would you be thinking, I'm going to cash in because there are other players I want to try?
I think I'd cash in and take other players I want to try. I'd still like to get a Hullet, Eusebio, who we'll touch later, Pele. You know, I would still like, for me, icons is still what I want, and I'd love to try some of those. Don't get me wrong, if you got one tradable, amazing. But tradable, I think I'd take the coins. What have you done?
It's really difficult. I think at this stage, I'd probably just keep him. You know, I'd probably just keep him and just run him. As someone that had the very good fortune to pack Ronaldo mid when he was still OP. I think it was January I packed him. It just gives you that extra little boost of confidence having a player like that, and it's great to just enjoy them. But, you know, it might be one where I'd keep him for sort of 3 or 4 weeks and then sell him right at the end to try other players. But, you know, it's literally a game-breaking card. Just before we get on to some of the other heroes as well, though, I think some people on Twitter were making the point that EA have actually done a good job twice now, having refreshed some of these hero cards. You know, Freddie Ljungberg, who's also in this team, is now on his 3rd version of his card. And some people are saying, well, why haven't icons, who, as the word implies, are icons, you know, been given the same love?
I think it's probably down to licensing agreements, possibly. Or, you know, they'll have agreements for each individual icon, and there's maybe things they can and can't do. That could be part of it. I think icons possibly as well, maybe because they are icons, that they're sort of marked and locked away, and they're treated differently from the rest of the game. Because if you think about it, we used to have 3 layers of icons. They have pushed it to 4. Do you really want to go to a 5th by putting them into shapeshifters?
Yeah.
It could be just things like that. I'd love to see some changes, because let's be honest, there are so many icons that are just not usable in FIFA, and it would be great to see some of those get some real love from EA. But yeah, they're just my wild guesses as to maybe why not.
Yeah, and it's as good a theory as any. As mentioned, there are a few others maybe not been given quite the same love. I mean, Fernando Morientes, again, someone was joking this, you know, about, oh, what a radical shapeshift EA have done. They've moved him from a striker to a cam, which anybody can do with his digital card. Freddie Ljungberg has got a new card as well. They've moved him to the MLS, though, reflecting his final days of his pro career. So, that, you know, already making a tricky card to link that bit harder, even though it's a, you know, a fantastic looking card. We've also had Ricken, who is been moved to a right midfielder in the Bundesliga, and Gomez from the Bundesliga, who's been switched, Mario Gomez, who's been switched from a striker to a defender. Sort of nicely linking him in, actually, with Kevin Volland, who we'll talk about later. So you could have that, you know, dream team from striker to centre-back pairing.
Absolutely. Move them both.
Yeah. So, I mean, out of those other boosted heroes, are there any that you're particularly hoping to pack, or, you know, maybe dabble in the market to get?
No, Ribery, suppose, you know, again, purely because
he's not a hero, though. He's actually still an active player. Sorry.
If it's the heroes, no, you want Ginola, the rest of them, you'll take them. You'll use them in objectives. You may have a play weekend leagues and rivals, but you're not going to build your team around any of those heroes.
Yeah, I think Morientes is an interesting one. I think in the very sort of first couple of months of the game, again, his original card was quite useful, a good sort of kind of battering ram kind of striker. And this time around, he's been given that 5-star weak foot. So
yeah,
certainly one you could link if you're looking for a way to fit a couple of La Liga players in there. Certainly think he's in the usable range. Gomez as well, for his stats as a centre-back, all look absolutely fine. Again, there are better options, but he's already down to 200,000 coins on the Xbox. Freddie Lundberg has mentioned, I think unfortunately the leagues really kill off that card, and he's already below 100k. And Ricken as well. Just a very average card. I mean, there's not much difference between this card and Caliguri, who's been out for sort of 2-3 months now.
Yeah.
And again, that's reflecting his price. He's down to 50k already. And again, we're recording this just an hour after the team's been out. So again, a little bit of a missed opportunity with some of these cards. But as you mentioned, Frank Ribery is also in the Shapeshifters side. Lots of people were expecting him to get a flashback SBC, but no, he's been just put into the main team. This card at the moment, an eye-watering 4.7 million on the Xbox, extinct on the PS with a 5 million coin price range. I loved this card, his Summer Heat card in FIFA 20, and I would desperately love to get my hands on this card tonight.
Yeah, it's just 5-star, isn't it? Small, lean, beautiful. Yeah.
Marcus Rashford, his popularity's kind of dipped. He was a very OP card in FIFA 21. Not so much love this time around, although his I can't remember what the promo was called now. It's not What If. What do they call that promo this time?
Oh, yeah, I know the one you mean. Let me have a look.
I can't even remember what it was called now. But the one where the card's upgraded, he got a 95 rated left winger card. And it's a card that I've never... Have you actually ever faced that card? Because I've never seen it.
No, not at all. I don't even think I've faced the Freeze and Foot Fire ones that came out either. I never
Foot
really
Fantasy,
faced them.
That's the promo.
Is that the... Yeah. So I haven't really faced much Rashfords at all, apart from the very, very start of the game. He's really not seen him at all this FIFA.
I mean, on the surface, there's not a lot wrong with the card. 5-star skills, 4-star weak foot, 97 rated overall. He's got 98 acceleration, 99 sprint speed, shot power's 99. All the aggression, the strength, the stamina, that's all fine. Passing is very usable, whether you play him out wide or through the centre.
Oh yeah,
Good reactions.
Even with the basic, Dan, he's a 97 rated striker, 98 centre forward, a cam, 98 winger. He's a very, very good card.
The only thing that would, and again, this is being super nitpicky, would be the composure at 91, which for a card costing me 4 million coins if I was playing that through the middle. I want that 95 plus composure, but that's, again, you have to be super nitpicky with these very end game cards because, look, they're all completely cracked. So, and again, he's going for over 3 million coins at the moment. What he settles down into, he's a central card this time, a cam, which will, of course, boost that rating, that price, up significantly. But he's holding a high price, as is Ribery, as we mentioned, Janilla is. Otherwise, not a lot of high price players. Valverde,
Sani possibly. I was going to say Sani possibly if you're on a Bundesliga team.
Yeah. 96 rated centre forward, obviously playing for Bayern Munich. Sané's problem has historically been that weak foot, but they've taken care of that. They've upgraded him to 4-star weak foot, 5-star skills as well.
Might be the problem though, medium low.
Yeah.
But.
Again, what can you say? Super quick card. The shooting is kind of all where you want it to be. Again, a bit like Rashford. Again, the composure down at 90. Not ideal. Reactions 90 as well. So maybe that is one area you'd boost, but again, being super nitpicky on all of these cards. And
but again, Dan, realistically, would you not play them out wide possibly? Or if you're playing a 4-4-2 or a 4-2-2, they'd probably be, you could go out wide. If you're playing a 4-2-3-1, they'd be one of the cam roles rather than a striker. So yeah,
exactly. I think the problem we're in at this stage of the game, John, is there's just too many cheap options out there to fill those roles. And it's what stand. You need something, I think, to stand out on one of these cards to actually part with 500,000 coins plus. Can't really have to kind of stand out now.
I'm only jumping and going back to if you take something like a Tal 5-star. He's what, like 250,000 now? I'm just guessing. It will not be far off that. So like you said, there's so many options. What is it? 216. See what I mean? So 250 from the PlayStation. So there are so many options.
Yeah, Bundesliga is still not blessed with a lot of really great options, especially in sort of the striking departments. Haaland's and Lewandowski's team of the season cards haven't really caught much of the imagination. Of course, Miroslav Klose's icon card is not good enough.
I've used both Lewandowski and Haaland. My brother-in-law comes round for FIFA Mondays, and he's a Bundesliga team, so we sometimes use that. And whether mobility's not brilliant, but if they shoot, it's like a rocket.
Oh yeah, if you can get the balls to them, they're absolute finishers. But I feel like, I'm sorry for sounding like a broken record. We're at that stage of the game now where
you want more than that.
Exactly. You need the complete package, and we're going to talk about an SBC later, but EA released an SBC with a 3-star player. And like you say, you've got an Natal 5-star, 4-star that's 200k. Why are you going to waste your time for anything other than trying to get a bit of fodder on one of these kind of cards? But just rounding off this team then, you've got Valverde from Real Madrid. He's been shifted to a right-back card. Shades of the Llorente card, I think, here, that we saw last year in the Road to the Final, whatever it was, the summer promo Festival of Foot, whatever it was called, card that we had last year from Llorente here.
Yeah, it's just a super all-rounded card. But again, if you're playing a 5-back, great. You can go up and down that, 5 to start with, 3-5-2 in game, he'll be phenomenal. But realistically, most people will just position change him into the middle. Yeah,
absolutely. You got Cucarella from Brighton, who's been linked to the host of big clubs this summer. He's about 70k at the moment. A decent left-back. Stats pretty reminiscent of an Acuna card here. Obviously with the Premier League and Spanish links on this one. But the pace a little bit low for a left-back in July.
Yeah, you realise that you're going to have to pop a shadow on him. If you're playing him as a defensive, possibly catalyst if you were playing him out wide. But he's cheap, and that's why I suppose at that price point, 60 to 70k, you can't really complain if the stats aren't perfect because you're not paying top dollar.
Yeah, this is going to be the one that most of us get in our Shapeshifter packs when they come into the store.
Cynical, Dan, cynical.
And if it's not Cucarella, then it'll probably be the other guy that we've not talked about, Felipe, from Atletico Madrid. He's been shifted in shape from a centre-back to a central defensive midfielder, 3-star, 4-star, medium-high work rates, which is nice, but again, 84 pace, just not going to cut it in July.
No, and everybody talks about it. Yes, you can put a card on, catalyst, shadow, whatever you want, but it's the base stats you want first, and the card's just the extra gravy. You don't want the card to be turning it round. Well, that's my opinion anyway.
No,
these cards.
100% agreed. 100% agreed. So look, that is the Shapeshifters Team 3. That will be in packs until next Friday. The first two teams have seen mini releases on Saturday night? It is Saturday night, isn't it? It's not or is it Sunday? Anyway, one day over the weekend. We've usually seen 3 extra players added into packs, so hopefully we'll see a few more faces added in there. We have also had a couple of players released via SBC and Objective to mark this new team. The Objective player we can spend 30 seconds talking about, I think, John. Mr. Batra.
Yes. It's friendly mode. You'll get them done. Bit of time. You're not going to build your team around him. You're not going to change your team to fit him in. He'll end up in an SBC heaven. Yeah, sorry,
Mr. Batra plays for Real Betis in La Liga. He's got a 92 rated left winger card. Very good pace. I mean, look, the stats when you look at the card are great, but as mentioned, he's a 3-star player, which is just, I'm sorry, it's just not good enough. High medium work rates. You can go and pick up, I'd rather go and pick up the team of the season, Canales, easily, as opposed to this card. So one to swerve unless you really are just looking to play in, a few friendly game modes. It doesn't look like it's going to take you massive amounts of time. I mean, 5 finesse goals using Spanish players, 6 wins. shouldn't take too long. I imagine it's going to be a golden goal first.
Because golden goal will be the push there because it's in friendlies mode. I might do them to chill because I'm not doing weekend league, so a couple of nights, but I'll just be using them to go into an SBC.
100%. And the other is a player released via SBC. He is back at the wheel. It is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who's been given a dual option SBC.
Yes.
You can either get the 97 rated left winger card, or you can get the 97 rated cam. Now, I was quite excited when I first saw these cards, John, but again, am I being a complete weak foot skill move snob by turning my nose up at this just for the fact he's 4-star?
At this stage of the game, I think you're just wanting bigger and better. Personally, I don't use skill moves, as you know, Dan, so 3-star, 4-star skill moves are fine for me. Sometimes the 5 is great because the AI does it for you. Weak foot is probably what you're looking for more. 4-4 is still acceptable, but yeah, there'll be lots of people who won't do him because he's not 4-5.
Yeah, I think the sort of... He hasn't got any traits as well, which is annoying. I think if he had the outside the foot shot trait, you might just be able to forgive that 4-star weak foot, because... it's a real shame, because there is nothing at all wrong with the cards in the stats that matter. We talked about him referencing other cards. Acceleration 99 on the left wing card. This is 99 acceleration, 99 sprint speed, 99 finishing, 99 positioning, 99 shot power. I was talking about composure on a couple of cards earlier. This has got 97 in the composure category. Long passing, maybe a little bit iffy at 85, but otherwise only the aggression at 70 really stands out. He's got 99 heading accuracy as well, but no traits and only a 4-star weak foot. When I compare this to Jamie Vardy, I think I'm taking Vardy.
100k more for Solskjaer. Vardy, has more in-game stats, has that weak foot upgrade, but it's linkability, isn't it? If you've got any sort of hybrid team, Solskjaer will give you those links. If you've got Fernandinho, suddenly you get that strong link to Fernandinho because you're using Solskjaer. He'll be very useful for those things, I think, Dan. Where Vardy, you're struggling to link him, and Mane is twice the price. If Solskjaer's about 450, Mane's 1.2 million. So it's the linkability aspect that I think Solskjaer works really well for, and base stats. But you're right, Vardy and Mane are probably the better cards, but Solskjaer gives you that something that those don't. And let's be honest, there are so many Man United fans, he'll be done anyway.
As I mentioned, there are two options here. You've got the central card or the left wing card. I look at these two, and I think the left wing card is hands down the winner. It's got better pace. It's got better shooting. It's the passing is slightly weaker, but it's got better physicality. The defence is a bit lower, but that just doesn't matter because look, this isn't a card you're going to play in any sort of a defensive or a box-to-box role anyway, despite being a cam. And the dribbling is very slightly better on the cam. But again, for me, it's a left wing. If you're doing this card, do the left wing.
I agree, and I think the footbin votes also show that as well, Dan.
Yep, so again, an interesting option. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a cult hero for any United fans who grew up with the treble winning side. And again, I remember Grandpapa Mac packed him quite early in the game cycle and, really liked him as a base card. So I'm sure that he's going to put away plenty of goals. And as you mentioned, John, if you're not someone that relies on those 5-star skills, 4-4 it is going to be fine. It's just whether you are prepared to put up with that 1 in 10 moment where he misses that opportunity because you're using his weak foot and he hasn't got, the shooting traits you want, like a finesse shot trait or an outside the boot shot trait.
But I'm going to say something else, right? I've got team of the season Mbappe, and I had the player of the month Mbappe. And even though he is 5-star, let me just double check my number. He's 5-star skills, 4-star weak foot, and he's got really high composure. I still find Mbappe misses a hell of a lot of chances. So again, and you're talking, he's only 4-star weak foot. different league, different gravy, but he's like 3 million. So people will pay that much money for a 4-star Mbappe, but not pay that money for a 4-star Solskjaer, if so.
Yeah, it's the price, I think, as well. I think, price is a little bit too high at 450,000 coins. Again, this is more in the 300,000 coins range. In that Jamie Vardy mould, it's much more appealing.
Because I think that linkability. So at this stage of the game, you're probably right as players, but at this stage of the game, people want high rated. People like to see their team go from a 95 to a 96 to a 97. So Solskjaer gives you the rating. He gives you the linkability because he'll link to anybody in the Premier League and give you that strong link. And he's a Man United player, one of the biggest players in, one of the biggest clubs in the world. So I think, and there is that Premier League tax. So if you compare them to other leagues, it might seem expensive, but at this stage of the game, I don't think it's that expensive.
It's not hugely expensive for what it is. I just think...
Yeah, if you're doing Vardy at 313 and Solskjaer's 420, 430, you're only talking 110,000 coins difference, and considering most people will be using fodder anyway, not everybody, but most people have some sort of fodder to throw into that, you drop the price of that quite considerably. So, just something to think about.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, Vardy is another player that's been released this week, a 96 rated flashback left wing card, ironically, celebrating his performance in that 5-3 win for Leicester over Man United, one of the first stages of their journey to glory in the mid-2010s. And like you mentioned, John, he's got more total in-game stats. Vardy he's got 2 better face stats as well. And it's a fantastic looking card. I love the 99 aggression. I've used this card a little bit so far, and I think he does live up to the stats. He doesn't seem particularly fake. He's got that 99 finishing, 99 shot power, the composure 99 as well. I think if you're looking for an option, and I think he can do a decent enough job as a winger as well, or a wide cam, but I really love this Vardy card, and I think if you're running any sort of a Premier League team, I'd definitely get him at the very least to bring off your bench.
I just didn't do them simply because I have Manny. I got an untradeable Manny from one of the packs, SBC 93 plus, and so that's my left wing position in this, in the squad building, pegged in with him. So from that point of view, I mean, 300,000, throwing some fodder, drop the price. Yeah, Vardy will do you really well. But again, it's about linkability at this stage of the game. Most people are quite hybrided, or got a hybrid team, so linkability sometimes is a problem. Like I'm playing Fernandinho on 8 chemistry, which isn't good for my OCD, but that's
the only way to get Nath on the way back from his holiday.
Yeah, exactly. So it's one of those.
Yeah. Again, though, it's just nice to have these cards around. The same as Lozano as well. I can't fault EA for some of these SBC players they've been putting out, because all of them have been at least useful. The other one we want to talk about as well from the Shapeshifters side, Kevin Volland, released on Thursday night, 93 rated centre-back. He's German in Ligue 1 playing for Monaco. He's been shifted from a striker to a centre-back just as his foot freeze card was in FIFA 21. But again, John, not a lot to really nitpick about this card. It's got the work rates you want with medium high. It's got a 4-star weak foot, which is always handy to have as a centre back. The pace is 90. All the defending stats above 90. All the physicality stats 92 plus and above. So again, just a nice option if you're looking to find a partner for, say, Marquinhos, or if you're looking for a way to get Da Costa in. Nice soft link there to the right back. Just a handy little defender for 80k. Yeah,
absolutely. I think that's it. He's very solid, very nice. Like I said, 4-star weak foot for a defender's very good. Fantastic composure, defending, passing. For a defender, there's nothing wrong with the card. And just 5'10" maybe height.
Yeah.
But then I'm using Tierney, who's about the same, I think, in the game. And it is what it is. He's not giving me major concerns. So, very solid, cheap card.
Yeah, only one squad as well, just 185 rated squad. So, if you end up with a high rated dupe in the next couple of weeks, it's good, or the next few days, while it's available. It's a nice one to dump some fodder into and get yourself a guaranteed 93 rated player. if nothing else. Now, we mentioned one other player earlier on, because it's been a while since we've discussed content. Obviously, since this podcast moved to twice a week. The guys on over the weekend spending most of their time talking with Tyler from the FootPicks podcast. I highly encourage you to check it out if you haven't already. The merits of a golden goal weekend. So not a lot of content, so we've got a lot to catch up on. But the only other thing that I really want to talk about, John, was Eusebio. Now, we've waited quite, since they had that little spurt of releasing Vieira, Maldini, Cantona. It's been a good few weeks since we've had an icon to really sink our fodder into. And I apologise again for being negative on this. I've just praised EA for the players they brought out, but this one is a massive own goal for me. This is too expensive for this stage of the game, even though Eusebio is a fantastic player. 2.3 million. I'm sorry, it's too much.
I think also because you can buy him off the market for less. I think that's where they get it wrong. There should always be that, I think, that sort of 25-30% discount for being untradeable. So if you're talking 1.8 to buy, or 2 million if you're on the PlayStation, you should be talking, I don't know, 1.5, something like that, maybe 1.4 would maybe make it appealing. I certainly can't do it. I don't have 2 million coins spare. And
he's around until the end of the game, so
I don't have huge amounts of fodder, because basically fodder's going into every other SBC that's out. So,
well, this is it, and I was about to say he's around until September, so there's no time press to get this done. And we will in the next, I would imagine, as soon as Shapeshifters is over. Apparently, there's going to be a Team 4 on Shapeshifters. But I imagine as soon as that is over, we will start seeing best of back in packs. It's the general way EA tend to think. So within 2 weeks, packs will slowly start to be better. Because at the moment, they're actually quite rubbish, because all you can pack are these Shapeshifters. And I don't know about you, John, but coming across them seems to be like gold dust. So getting high-rated fodder is actually quite tricky at the moment, keeping the prices up.
I've done okay with Shapeshifters. Like, I've packed quite a couple of untradables from 82 plus or 85 plus or 93 plus SBC, so I have packed them that way, but I haven't packed any in a pack, if that makes sense. I've packed them all from SBCs, I haven't packed any from a pack. So yeah, that point of view, and again, unless you pick up Ronaldo, which one of the guys in the Discord did, very nice, or a Messi or something like that that's tradable, realistically 200,000 or 300,000 coins for a player isn't going to make you afford a Eusebio. So
yeah, and it's just
always,
again
always
the question,
been that adage.
Yeah, and it's the question again of it, is Eusebio worth aspiring to and sinking every bit of fodder into? Is he that top tier? I certainly think he's a top 20 striker in this game, but when you look at a Ben Yedder, for example, being around 500,000 coins on the market and tradable, I have a hard time, especially with fodder not being so plentiful right now. I could make a better argument in 3 weeks' time, but right now, I just don't know if this is the one that's worth completely emptying your club and your coin balance on.
I know. I think, though, Dan, how many new players are going to be released that are going to be better? So I think the ones that are released are already in the game, if that makes sense. Ronaldo, Messi, Mbappe, etc. So I suppose it all comes down to, do you want that icon sauce that we talk about? Do you want just that marquee signing in your club? Because like I said, my Mbappe's 3 million, Eusebio's 2 million. Yeah, there's a difference in rating. So there is a bit, what is your marquee signing? At the start of the game, for me, it's always that I would love to get Eusebio, Cruyff, Maldini, Hullet. But as you get to this stage of the game, you're not desperately wanting to get them anymore. No. You'd love them, but you're not going out your way because there are so many other better players. So I don't know. It's a very, very good card. He's given me torturous nightmares when I faced him. But yeah, I don't know if it's worth 2 million coins at this stage of the game.
Yeah, and I'm just at this point of the game cycle where I'm sitting here thinking, as I mentioned, there's 10, 11 weeks of this game left. They will release Ronaldo R9 in 4, 5.
Yeah.
So I guess it's just if you really think, actually, I'm only going to play this game for another 3 or 4 weeks properly. This is the best guy I can get. I can do him for 750,000 coins with the fodder I've got in my club. I'm just going to get it done, use him, and he'll be main game striker. If so, fair enough. But if you have got no real affinity for Eusebio, you can get an Irving Lozano for 200,000 coins, who's got more total stats, more total in-game stats, and has the same 5-star weak foot, 4-star skill moves. Okay, a lot harder to link being Mexican from Serie A. But the point is there that Eusebio is not 5 steps above players, whereas if you'd done a prime Eusebio SBC in March, you would have
you'd have him and you'd still be using him because you'd have built your team, he'd been your team, he'd have 1,000 games for you or whatever, or 500 games, and you would just be, I don't need to look at another striker because I've got Eusebio. But we're the other way around now, we've got the strikers, so do you need Eusebio?
Exactly. So look, the main thing is it's nice that the option is there, and we're going to talk about a few of our gripes a bit later in the show before we wrap up, but it's overdue. These icons should have been available a long time ago. For menu grinders and for people constantly achieving the finishes that gets them big cards, these cards should have been available at a time where they could make that real difference, where you could have a swagger. Even when they released the likes of Maldini and Vieira, they felt worth sinking 1 million, 1.5 million coins into because they were going to last you months rather than weeks. So glad he's here, but I think it's just a little bit too late for me. And finally, just on the content front, of course, these tokens continue to be rolled out. EA have once again shown how they are desperate to get you to empty your coin balance or put a cheeky fiver into the game by releasing a 100k untradeable pack, which has got a token in it. Does give you 2 guaranteed 88 plus untradeable players, as well as a lone icon hero. I did this, got 2 88s, and my lone hero, I think I had a choice between Gomez, Ricken, and Lundberg. So
I've still to do it
down.
I'll maybe see if I've got enough X points, loyalty points, your daily reward points, and I'll maybe buy whatever price a packet is.
Yeah, I think it's 500 FIFA points, which again is consistent with the way they've done these token packs. They are very cheap on a FIFA point side, whereas very high on a coin side, which is undeniably scummy. I don't think I'm being harsh there. It just is. But that is the way. I've spent my 100,000 coins. They've not had a penny extra from me, and I've not got anything from it. So who's the real winner in that equation? I don't know. But there is a token there. There is also a token hidden in Silver Stars as well. We've also had a fresh Shapeshifters Cup, the Golden Goal Cup mode as well. There's a token there. So it's a bit of a Where's Wally game.
I'll not get that.
I
didn't go for the last cup, and I'm not doing this cup, so I'm not getting my 50 tokens. I'll probably 34, 35. I'll pitch in somewhere like that, and then I'll make my deals.
It's going to be more than enough. But yeah, just keep hidden. I think Criminal X on Twitter is a good place. I think a few people are doing token trackers as well if you are having a hard time. But just there is lots, and again, it is a credit to EA. There is lots to be getting on with at this stage of the game cycle. They are doing a good job at incentivising us to load up the game. So I can only, on the one hand, slag them off for releasing such a horrid pack, but, they are doing some good things. So credit where it's due. Look, I'll save my main rant for the end so people can, subtly turn down the volume and get on with their days. But more importantly, we have had questions from members of our Discord, which, of course, you get access to via Patreon at patreon.com/FUT in review. Any tier gets you membership of our Discord. And remember as well, if you are, take a trial with our Pro Clubs team, of course, we've had details of that in previous podcasts, or you can hit us up on socials for that. You also get the trial membership as well, which gets you into some of the main rooms of the Discord. So check that out as well. And again, please go and like that kit release video. It's got a certain voice on it that you may be familiar with.
Smooth voice.
Dulcet Berkshire tones. Anyway, have had questions in, and the first one comes from O'Bugger, who asks, simple question here. Will you play the next FIFA? And if so, or if not, what change do you want to see? So, John, you've been to the low of lows on this game. I'm not outlined in saying by the fact that you took the ultimate step to delete the club for a couple of weeks before coming back. Has it made you reassess whether you're going to get on board with FIFA 23?
I'll play it. I'll buy it. I don't play many games anymore. This is the game that I play all the time. I play it with my brother-in-law and my nephews on the FIFA Mondays. I'm in the Discord. I've got WhatsApp groups about FIFA. It's the game I play. I'm just not as good as I'd like to be. But I'm dealing with that. So yeah, I will play it. And what do I most want to see change? That I don't know. I suppose, even though I do it myself, I sometimes back out of games. I think it should be when you back out, the person gets the win. Simple as that.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's just a no-brainer change. I think that everybody in the community wants. I will play as well. I'm a borderline addict at this point, so why not? And in terms of change...
It's the fact you say borderline addict.
Yeah, probably over the border. But look, if I had to change one thing, and I've said this throughout my time hosting this show and guesting on this show, I'm desperate to see them make co-op more meaningful. I think it is undeniably, as the pro clubs guys are showing, when you get to share the experience in this game, it just makes it so much better. And every other game out there, or the majority of games out there, especially online ones, really do focus on, the squad-based, duo-based games. And I think we could go into another hour-long podcast on the reasons and my suspicions why EA don't boost co-op.
I used to play World of Warcraft, proper hardcore raider. But it was
for the Horde, I hope.
No. Paladin Alliance.
Going to have to close this podcast down right now.
Always for the Alliance.
Unbelievable.
I'm in the minority there. But yeah, it was teamwork. If you went Battlegrounds, it was teamwork. You went PvP, it was teamwork. And if you went dungeons or raiding, it was teamwork.
Yeah. And it made it so much more satisfying. If you were in that guild or you were in that party, to make it through, dungeon was, gave you that real elation and, sense of teamwork. And everyone got something great from it, so everyone was happy. And I've enjoyed playing co-op Rivals for the last 2 games. My best friend from school I play with, the guy that dragged me into this murky world of FIFA Ultimate Team. Thank you, Steve, if you're listening. I've loved playing the game with him. It's been so much more enjoyable when we're sharing the successes and failures together, and I'd just love to see things like a co-op weekend league. It's just such a shame they've only given it lip service. There's been a couple of... I think there was an objective around Team of the Year to get you a Ronaldo loan, and other than that, there's been no real incentive to play co-op all year. So I'm really hoping that they boost that element next year, but I'm not holding my breath. Moving on to the next question, and Adam wants to have another look ahead to FIFA 23. He says, "Hey hosts, will they format the game better to prevent gifted wins, draws, quits, etc.? And how do you think they will do this? And also, when is Moments R9 coming out?" My guess is the 1st of August for R9. But on the other question, John, what do you think they're going to do? Do you think they're going to clamp down on gifted wins as a first point?
No, I don't think. I don't know. My genuine opinion is I don't know. I don't know if they know how to do it or what to do with it. They've tried bringing in their own golden goal type objective to try and make it that way, but I don't know. I'll be honest. I'd love to see what they come up with myself, because I think they're struggling on how they're going to manage it.
The best way to keep people in games, full stop, is to provide more incentives for objectives that are not wins. Even in Rivals, in FIFA 21, yes, I'm trying to think when they changed the system, but you used to get points for scoring goals. So even if you were losing, and if you lost a game 5-4, it was almost as valuable as winning a game 1-0, because I think you got points up to 5 goals. So it gave you an incentive to actually, I am massively outmatched by this guy. He is smashing me, but I've got a couple of goals in this. So it's been worth my time. There's no incentive for that in Rivals. There's definitely no incentive for that in Champs. And it's led to this whole mentality of it's golden goal or bust. I was playing this silvers against bronzes objective. I know I probably should check myself into a facility for even trying. Bearing in mind this was the bronzes I was playing with. I thought, I'll give bronzes a go.
How many wins did you get, Dan?
I got none. I got hammered 4 times. But I got 2 messages from people. 2 messages out of these 4 games from people saying, why aren't you playing golden goal? And I'm thinking, you should be sending me a message just thanking me for daring to enter this mode while I'm playing your Silver Stars riddled teams that I'm playing with Peterborough Bronzes. Anyway.
It's funny because the same thing. It was one of the objectives, Silver Stars, is you've got to win 3, score 8, assist 6, whatever the spec is. And I played yesterday, and the guy was better than me. And I thought, I just need a goal. I've got the wins. I just need 1 goal. So I thought, I'm going to stick it in, get my goal. And the guy messaged me at the end and says, he beat me 4-0, he says, because he just kept the ball. He kept the ball for about the whole second half. I thought, bit of spite, just for that, I'm definitely not quitting. And he messaged me and says, I'm so glad you got nothing.
This game has gone too... And it's what I said, it's why I want to see them incentivise gameplay. Because this game has gone too far into the win at all costs. And win as quickly as possible. As you know, the guys were discussing with Tyler about the golden goal weekend, and I can sympathise. I actually really like the first goal wins objectives to get these packs in the Shapeshifters Cup. It's very, very quick either way. I get it done in 15 minutes, and I'm either rewarded or I'm not. Fine, that's great. But you sit there and you do come to a point where you're saying, well, why am I even playing this game if I'm desperate to get it over with as quickly as possible?
People want to get their 8 wins and out. Some people are 4 wins for Rivals and out. Some people go to 8 and out. It's only when it gets to, I need 90 games for the end of the season, they start churning the games then, and they start going golden goal, or they start rubber banding, and that's a whole different situation. But yeah, everybody wants instant wins, instant gratification, and they don't actually want to play the game. They don't want to sit and play 6 minutes a half. It's like, we want 3-minute halves, we want 5-minute halves. You bought the game to play the game. Play the game.
Yeah. I will say I think 5-minute halves are a nice, because I grew up on Pez. Pez was 5-minute halves. I just think it just lessens the time commitment for everyone, whilst also not massively impacting on the game experience. So I wouldn't object to that. Sorry, but yeah, I don't want to see it go down to something like 3 or 2 minutes. Although again, it was nice to have that experiment where they did cut the halves in half. But yeah, in response to your question, Adam, I think they need, as we just mentioned before, they desperately need to implement something where if you quit, you've lost the game and the other guy gets the win. Or girl, whoever's playing the game, gets the victory. No brainer. Stop this. Just make it happen. No excuses. The big excuse that I have heard, and I've even tried to make myself, I sit back and listen and go, well, it just doesn't make any sense. So yeah, that, and as I said, if you want to get people staying in games, then yeah, you need to.
For finishing it, the downside is people may potentially rubber band if they get that 1 goal, but there needs to be something about finish your games. There's an objective at the end for finishing your games.
Yeah. And moving on to the final question, Cream Corn just sort of was generally musing about, is it worth doing a topic on the show about accepting defeat in terms of, you've got life responsibilities or you want to play other games, and just sort of saying, right, you know what, I can't play FIFA as much as I want to do. And also sort of about trying to find the right balance. I think amongst those of us who have a deep passion for this game, John, and I know I feel it sometimes, you do feel that pressure to keep up. You do feel that pressure to achieve a certain rank, to keep yourself at a certain level, no matter what your responsibilities are. And I know it's something that I've personally struggled with. I don't know if you've got any sort of advice as to ways that you've sort of mentally dealt with those sort of pressures.
Well, I probably haven't coped that well this year, as you know, Dan. We talked on it earlier that I deleted my club at one stage. And there is the bit about you can go into a game with what you think is a good squad or a good team, and that actually ties into a question that Nate put on about, do you regret how hard you grinded the game, seeing that everyone has God's squad so early, right? That there's a bit that you go in and you play and you think, all right, I'm not in elite, I'm in D2, right? I've managed to get to D2 every season, don't get past it. I think for my age, that's okay. But when you're in D2 and you go on a small losing streak and then you don't pack any players and you don't feel like you're improving your squad, you do get that sort of black cloud about the game becomes a frustration rather than an enjoyment game. I think for me, not playing weekend league, because my squad's pretty decent since League Untitled, that has been my biggest weight, because I don't have that super competitive, because at the end of the day I'm now playing rivals, be that for 4 wins, 8 wins, and that's all down to time. If I play 20 games or 25 games to get the 8 wins, or 12 games, it doesn't matter. I'll get my 8 wins over the course of the week. The rest of it's done doing objectives. Doesn't matter if you win or losing objectives. I'm not worried about my win-loss ratio, but that's taken me a long time to get there. But that's just how I've dealt with it, stepping away from weekend league. And it's not the weekend league that bothers me, it's the stress of qualifying for weekend league that is my black cloud. That honestly, I don't even want to do it anymore, because it's just like, I'm not putting myself through this, because you don't qualify, you're like, oh fuck, you know, or you're losing a game that you think you should be winning, you're like, oh, I might not qualify now. Nah, I've taken that out, and I find FIFA much more enjoyable.
Yeah, and I think the main thing that I've sort of have to mentally repeat to myself over and over again, and John's talked about this and I talked about this, and we try and talk about this quite often, is the only pressure on you is the pressure you put on yourself. You're not walking around a high street with your weekend league record floating above your head. And even if somebody knows your weekend league record, and we have players of all different difficulty level, skill levels in our Discord. And don't get me wrong, I've got a massive amount of respect for the people that, win 16, 17, 18 games. But I don't look at them or judge them any differently to the guys who I know. Chris is open about it. He gets his nut in yourself. You get your 4, 8 or your 9 wins and you're done. And sometimes that's all you can get to. People are open with their struggles if I've just missed out on getting 9 wins. And I don't think, they're useless at FIFA. Go away and practice, buddy. Like, it's just like, okay, you're not great at it. The same way that I'm useless at most active sports, and I'm resigned to being a fairly useless 5-a-side goalkeeper for my sporting highs on the pitch. And I don't sit there and panic that I'm not scoring 10 goals on a 5-a-side pitch every Tuesday night. I'm just enjoying the fact that, I'm a goalkeeper, I'm okay, and I'm just at the level I am. And the mates and the people I play with accept that. Sometimes I have good weeks. But
in that, you've got that camaraderie.
Yeah.
But when you're FIFA, it's a bit solo.
Yeah. And that goes back to the whole co-op thing, and why I think co-op needs to be a big thing, because, you should be able to help lift each other up and kind of escape this kind of lonely place. And with the pressure all being on you, as Creamcorn kind of says, balancing that life responsibilities, it's tough because, you've got responsibilities with your kids or, a partner or friends or family or whatever, and, you're away for a weekend and you're panicking. Like, I can't be away over League and Tots. Oh, what have I missed out on Mbappe? I would have got Mbappe if I'd played this week. If I'd got Mbappe, I would get more wins. I'd feel better about myself. I would have less. I wouldn't need to grind as much. I wouldn't need to spend FIFA points.
Dan, I think that's the cycle of every game, right?
Exactly,
and,
yeah.
There's always that feeling of, if I just get... And John's talked about this at all. John's very good, the coach, John, for coaching. He doesn't think about that. He's pretty good with any player, right? But for Joe Blogs, myself especially, you do think, right, if I could just pack a good player to upgrade my team, I will be better. And it's that feeling of, like you said, when you packed R9, you just felt better, more confident. Yeah, I think that's the cycle. But that's the same when because we both played Warcraft. It's about, if I got this next drop, my DPS or my healing will go up, and my survivability as a tank will go up. There's always that. That's the problem with all these games. You always feel you need the next thing, and that creates its own pressure of hooking you in and not actually letting you enjoy the game. You enjoy the game when you win, which is daft. It's like when you do a raid and you complete it, the elation is brilliant. But when you fail, you're just like, oh man, what a nightmare all this time. I'm not any better off, or I've opened 100 packs and I got nobody. All these games are designed like that. And actually, John's put in the chat in the start that he said he won a race in F1 yesterday. And then the next race he faced the number 2 from the past race. The first thing he does, slams me off the track and starts messaging me, "You're not winning this one. Ha ha ha." So FIFA's not the only toxic game.
No. And I think just the message that, again, I have to tell myself, and I will encourage everybody to take is, and I think, paraphrasing what you're saying, John, it is a game. You should be playing this for enjoyment. And yes, get better. The desire to get better is natural in any passion, in any hobby, whether you're playing an instrument, a sport, taking a education. You want to get better. You want to reach that next level. It's human nature. And, it's the whole reason foot coaching exists. It's because you're serious about this. You want to get better, and this is your passion. We can help you get to that next level. And again, that's what I would say to people who are getting overly frustrated or concerned is, if you have reached that point, please don't reach for your credit card. Go and get coaching. Fundamentally figure out how to get to that next level, because it's not just bad luck. And a week or two, bad luck can cost you a certain rank, but generally it's your skill level. And the only way you're going to improve that skill level is by learning something new or changing something in your game. And as mentioned, the guys at footcoaching.com, that's what they do. They are brilliant. And me and you have both personally been through it. The way they can analyse a game and show it back to you and say, look, here's what you're doing. And not just, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. It's like, well, if you did this here, have you thought about doing this? So again, and that's not just a plug.
It's not the worst. And I was D8 last year. Now, I know last year had its own problems because of self-relegation for objectives, etc., etc. But I never got out of D8 last year. I'm sitting comfortably in D2 every season this season. And that's from not a lot, just a few good coaching sessions from the guys at Foot Coaching. Yeah.
So look, if you have a burning passion to get better, again, figure out a way to get better. But if not, and you're just getting 11 wins, just, there's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with just getting 9. There's nothing wrong with getting 4 wins. There's nothing wrong with missing out on weekend leagues because you can't get through the playoffs. Yeah. It's just a game. You're at a certain level. Someone has to win and someone has to lose at this game.
I'd also say as well that all these people that think they're brilliant because they're really good at the game, poorer players, I'm going to say for myself, for example, I make these good players look better. So they should remember that and be thankful, not giving you a hard time for gubbing you.
Yeah, I don't want everybody to be fantastic. And, we've had a discussion about skill-based matchmaking. Be glad that not everyone is driven off the game because they're not as good as you. Because otherwise it's, sweatfest to a whole new level. So anyway, I hope that's answered your question, Cream Corn. John, I was going to spend a few time getting a few gripes off my chest, and I might have 1 or 2 left in the barrel. But anything you wanted to bring up over the past few weeks?
No. Like I said, I'm probably enjoying my FIFA more because I'm trying to treat it as a game, and I get frustrated, and that's different. Everybody gets frustrated when you lose, especially when you think, how did I lose, or why did I lose, or I can't believe I lost. But generally, because I'm not putting any pressure to get out of D2, I'm not putting pressure to qualify for Weekend League, I'm actually enjoying just picking up and playing FIFA.
I think that's the best attitude to have. And I took a holiday. That's why I've not been on hosting this show for a couple of weeks. Then took sort of a week after spending time with family, doing some other things. I was checking the menus when I got back, and while I was over there, logged in at 6 to see what was there. But I wasn't massively grinding hard. And since I've got back, I've not been massively hitting the game hard. I think a lot of the frustrations at this stage of the game actually come on a personal level from the fact of, no, this game is nearly over.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think that fact that there is that looming ticking clock, we are in the last, embers, the fire's going out on this game now. I think there is a frustration that creeps in of, I've actually worked really hard and now I've got to start all over again.
I actually prefer the start of FIFA. I've always preferred
and I do
it.
too.
This end game bit where every player's a great player and you can get a good 93 for 40k or a world class 93 for 10 million. It doesn't matter. For me, it's the start of the game. Every pack you open could potentially change your team, could give you some coins. That's exciting. At the minute, you pack a shapeshifter, you pack an 88 gold, you pack, realistically, unless they're one of a handful, it's just an SBC fodder. It's mad. It's crazy.
Yeah.
The start of the game is the best bit.
And I completely agree, and I can't wait to get to that start period again. So this is just it. You feel like you're kind of in limbo, and then I find myself raging at the game because I'm just not getting these fantastic cards. I win 21 games of the Shapeshifters Cup, get an 83 by 5 pack, and I get 3 83s in it.
Yeah.
I complete a 93 plus pick and then get a 95 Lloris as my best pick.
I know, and it's difficult, Dan, because a million times John said you shouldn't play the game for rewards. Unfortunately, the game is designed that way. It is designed that way. Complete the objective, get a pack. Complete a bigger objective, get more packs. And you're only opening the packs in theory to get players to improve your club, improve your squad. So I know where you're coming from, where John's got a great mindset about it doesn't matter who he plays with and stuff. But I think for people outside of that elite mental bracket, like myself and yourself, it's so frustrating when you open pack after pack or you complete objective after objective and it feels like you got nothing for it. And that's why I think just try and enjoy the game rather than what's at the end of it. But that's easier said than done.
Absolutely. Yeah, I just want to pack Mbappe for the first time in this game. I just, how am I in July and I've not packed an Mbappe, an version of Mbappe? I haven't packed a version of N'Golo Kante either. And then you go and see a streamer. I'll name her just because, I don't think there's anything. It's not that she's done nothing wrong. I think Lisa Manley posted her Tots Red picks and she had got Bellingham, Vinicius Jr., I think Ronaldo. There were 5 or 6 top team of the season players, and I look at my red picks throughout Tots, having got 2 every week, and I think like Koulibaly is like the best I've got, and it's the imbalance that drives you wild at this stage of the game. Sometimes
that's where Twitter or a Discord. I've actually got the pack channel and one's muted, and I do nip in and out, but I hate seeing. I don't hate secrets, not the right thing, but you go into Twitter as a prime example and you see people getting, look at my wins in Shapeshifter, look at my wins in my rewards, and look at my...
But there's nothing wrong with that, and I'm happy. I'm just, like when you packed Mbappe in Yedda after coming back to the game, I was delighted for you, and I generally am. But the only reason the resentment creeps in is because the EA don't throw you the same bones, and this is what I'm saying. Everybody should be getting, should be getting a top tier player every other promo. Not go through fits and starts, or in some cases hitting the jackpot every time, and in other cases hitting the jackpot never. There just needs to be a path to these. Yes, because I think
what you said is, in theory, what was it EA said? Every player in the game is achievable, right, or accessible without spending money, right? So in theory, like you said, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 weeks left. Where is our Pele's? Where is my 96 or 97 Neymar's? Where's my Messi? Yeah, I'm not playing. I got a Ben Yedder red pick, and I got an Mbappe team of the season out the one of the upgrade packs. So I've done very well this year, but I've not packed, like you said, didn't pack a N'Golo Kante, didn't pack a Varane when he was decent. I only got a Mendy in about January or February.
Yeah.
Haven't packed a Neymar at all, or an Mbappe, apart from, like a gold. Yeah, there's so much imbalance. But like John just said there, for every Lisa there's 1,000 Dans or 1,000 Johns, and Twitter is only full of the positives, because that's the way it is.
Exactly.
It's not clickbait, but
It's the same if you ever follow, you ever see someone posting their ridiculous accumulator win, isn't it, on Twitter? The guy that's won the 5,000 to 1 shot and has a fiver on it.
Yeah, but for the other 300 weeks of the year.
And also, who's putting a fiver on such a ridiculous outlier? That's a whole different kettle of fish. And look, we've been going at it for an hour, and I want to stay generally positive. I said, I'm still playing this game, and I'm still playing it because whilst there are lots of things that frustrate me, and we could have a whole nother topic on the bits of gameplay that are annoying, some of the menu stuff. I'm disappointed at the way EA are being so stop-start with how they're allowing menu grinding to happen. I thought 2 weeks ago they released some great bronze and silver upgrades. They didn't release them last week. Why haven't we got menu upgrades all week? So lots of other little gripes. But again, when I see good SBCs like Lozano and Vardy, I have to, say kudos and well done. Exactly. So look, they're a good and bad thing. I'm still playing this game in July. This game has given me 8-9 months of entertainment already. So certainly got my money's worth. And look, I said earlier, I'll be back for FIFA 23. So do hope that FIFA throw us a bone or two, but it is what it is.
Roll on FIFA 23.
Exactly. John, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Where can people find you on the wonderful World Wide Web?
In the Discord, obviously. If you're in the Discord, you'll find me, no problem at all. You know who I am. But on Twitter, at Talking FUT.
Absolutely. And I am at Wimby. Again, please go and check out our other social channels, at FUT in Review in particular. Go give us some Patreon love at patreon.com/FUT in Review. It funds all sorts of great things, including the very microphone I'm talking into, and you can see if you are watching us in the video podcast format. And of course, being a Patreon member gets you early access to this podcast. It gets you a whole range of other goodies. We've had lots of great events going on. The community's really on all cylinders. We've had the community cups going on. Again, we're going to have a competition to give away the new Pro Clubs kit that was launched just today on Friday, and lots more. And if you've ever got any questions, again, just hit us up at FUT in Review or email John at futcoaching.com.
And don't forget the YouTube channel, Dan, youtube.com FUT in Review.
To see our wonderful faces as we broadcast this show. youtube.com/FUT in Review. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, hit that notification bell. I think that's how YouTubers do it, isn't it?
It's something along those lines.
I need that little ding ding thing to pop in here. Maybe John will put that in the post edit. We will be back with a show on Monday. As mentioned, if you've, like me, been away for a few weeks, we are back down to just kind of 2 shows a week. Well, they might have a special third, an extra little dose in the works as well, which I will hopefully be able to tell more about in the next few weeks when I actually get it organised. But with that tease aside, John, one thing left for us to do before we ride off into the sunset.
Gotta drop it.
We are going to drop it. Take care, everybody.